I'll talk about that afterwards.
Good evening, everyone. And some people will be glad, some people will be upset to say I'm still alive. Depends who you are and whether I contacted you at any point yesterday. But yeah, I'm here. I'm not feeling too great, but I'm going to run a quick intro and then we'll get talking to these boys.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and then you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
So I'm joined by Karl and Gilly. How are you doing, lads?
Sup?
Better than
Not
me,
bad.
probably.
Going all right.
Christ.
Not gonna lie.
So yeah, because Gilly's peer pressured me, I've got a beer now, so we'll see how this goes.
Cheers, lads.
Probably gonna
Kill
really
or cure.
regret this.
Kill or cure. Just get into it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
I just joined you from the Just Joe show. So we've been over there having a bit of a chat. So now I can get my feet up a bit. It's a bit more of a relaxed approach, I would say, that we take to podcasting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something along them lines.
Drives me up the wall. But yeah.
I was the only one with a beer, put it that way.
Oh, God.
No way, were you? Right.
So
okay.
it looks like we've got a couple
self.
of guests tonight, which is nice because I don't want to talk much for a change.
You're like that fucking robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The fucking more.
Here I am,
I'm
brain the size of a planet.
I'm just struggling, lads. All right, I need some sympathy.
Marvin the paranoid android.
Yeah, that's the one. Marvin. Yeah.
Instead, you got Jay the pisshead.
Works,
so on to the actual game. I mean, what did you think of it, Karl?
I thought for 80 minutes we were absolutely brilliant. Genuinely, they put everything into that game, I think. And it's just a shame we couldn't finish off our chances.
I actually ordered a new webcam today. You'll be pleased to know, Smarty.
Will it work, though? That's the question, Jay.
We shall see. We shall see.
What is it they say about a bad workman?
Yeah, that's it. But overall, I actually quite enjoyed the game yesterday. It's although it was against Man United, it's quite refreshing the last two games where there hasn't been that, oh, Jesus, we're going to play this way and it's not going to work, and you know, the manager thing and all that. And there was nearly a sense of relief at both the away game and the home game for me, because you could actually see that people were, there was nothing there to moan about now, because they know the players are doing what they're meant to do. It's just the tactics were a bit shit at the time.
Yeah.
And you can see that people were a little bit more up for it. It was definitely one of the noisiest away ends I've been in this season. I wasn't at Liverpool, so that was meant to have been bonkers altogether. But yeah, I thought there was a lot of relief around the stadium yesterday for just not having, like, obviously it was Man United. We were worried that you know, we'd probably get battered or whatever the case may be. But to go into it and be kind of, you know, ready for it more so than we have been recently as fans, I thought was a good way to go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Matt? What do you reckon to it all?
Yeah, 75 minutes, 80 minutes. I thought we were the better side. They had a lot of the ball, but they did nothing with it. They didn't look like they were going to harm us. I think in that first 75 minutes, I think the only clear opportunity I remember them having, we'd gifted to them. You know, just on the stroke of half time, I think it was Verba played the ball forward and he just hit the man, and it just bounced in their favour and they were through on goal. And other than that, I don't remember them fashioning a clear-cut chance. And actually, even around that 75 minutes, I think it was around there, was it Dallo that hit the crossbar? I mean, he were miles out. They'd not carved a chance. It was almost a goal and he hit it well, but they'd not carved out a chance against us. It was just a pot shot from distance. And I think if you look on balance up to that point, I think we were in a position where we were the side in the ascendancy. And you look at possession, and if you've not watched the game and you look at possession and you see what it 66 to 33, whatever it was, you look at that and you think, wow, that must have been a battering. They did nothing with it at all. You know, they had it at the back. They passed it between them. It went back to De Gea and it went out to the alternate side of the defence. It came back to Frigid in the middle and he passed it across the other side and it went back to De Gea. And that's all that happened. And Jackie Harrison ran his blood to water. He absolutely did. I didn't think he needed to be taken off at the point at which he was, but he ran his blood to water. And I thought that when you look at our pressing game, because we'd had a little bit of a debate on Twitter beforehand, and I'd put out the if we went 4-3-3 then this, and if we go 4-2-3-1 then that. Yeah. And I had Jackie Harrison in the side, and somebody was saying, now I'd start with Jimmy and Willie on the wings, and I'm like, he does so much work. He does so much work and harrying and pressing. He does that defending right from the attack, and I think I would have said he was my player of the match for the sheer volume of work he got through. Not necessarily for the chances created, but for the sheer volume of work he got through. He gave us that platform. Yeah. We didn't fashion enough chances is the only bit. And actually, he's one of those that gets the accusations thrown at for. He's not fashioning the chances and then taking them when we do. But I felt that we were better the side. 75 minutes, certainly the better side, even if we didn't have the possession. Because we had the better chances. I mean, all right, one of those chances is an alien bicycle kick, which, you know, if that goes in, we've all gone mad. You know, we are on the pitch if that goes in.
No choice, getting pushed on.
I think, there were a couple of Jimmy chances, and I think De Gea pulled out a really good save for at least one of those. They had very, very little against us. And I thought that was testament to the control that we had. I think, when you look at the balance of the game and you look at the subs that were made, you know, they're missing two big players. Casemiro and Eriksen not being in the side for them is massive. And that really gave us that opportunity. We should have done something against them and we didn't. Well, when I say something, we got a point, but we deserved more than that. I felt that it was right that we got at least a point yesterday, but I thought we were worth a bit more than that. I think if you'd have come out beating them by the odd goal, I don't think you look at that going, we really poxed that. I think you look at that going, yeah, we deserved that.
I think you're right, man. I think
so.
how we created, we didn't create an awful lot, like you mentioned, but we created enough to certainly get more than what we got out of the game.
We just looked really solid, didn't we?
Yeah, Somerville's chance in the first half, right in front of the south stand, where it was like, I think it might have been 8 yards out, should have finished. Look, he's he's just back from injury. He's, getting back into it again a bit. So you can't really give him grief for that. But I think at the end of the day, the performance from the players for, like you said, the 70, 80 minutes was one of the best we've seen this season, I think. Simply for the fact that it was like they weren't playing with pressure. It was like they were playing in where our position in the league didn't reflect, where we were. And that was good to see, that they still kind of took the bull by the horns with that way and just started to plow on. Like you made a great point, Matt, about them not fashioning many chances. Like we how many teams are going to limit them to shots outside the box? You know what I mean? And to say,
that
man,
goal
hit
came
that
out
ball
absolutely nowhere as well. That first one, it was just out of nothing.
Like I say, it was just a pot shot from distance, wasn't it? It wasn't something that, they'd not put an overload on the wings and then made a clever run and picked out a man and run over. It wasn't that the shape of the side or a lapse in concentration on ours. It was just a pot shot. And do you know what? Yeah. Sometimes they'll do that and sometimes they'll go in. Sometimes they'll hit the bar and it'll be close. I think for me, though, that there are some slightly worrying aspects in as much as I was having a conversation today and we talked about the fact that, without wanting to labour the point, if Bielsa's in charge for that game, we don't lose it because there isn't the drop-off. So if you're 75 minutes in the Bielsa side, actually, that for the next 15 minutes, you're going to hammer the side that's in front of you. If it's 0-0 at that point, you're more likely to win than you are to get beat. Our problem was when we conceded under Bielsa, it tended to be that we conceded 2s and 3s and 4s. If you're 75 minutes in and it's 0-0, you're going to steamroller that team in front of you because they're not going to come back at you because they won't have the physicality. And I think what we're looking at the moment, we saw it with Ayling midweek, where he was my man of the match midweek, but he tailed off towards the end. and you could see it. But he'd had he'd had a young, quick player against him, and he'd got very, very little change, if anything. You know, there was the one chance that Ferber cleared off the line, but he played really well. But you could see that his legs were going towards the end of the game. And I think, again, although for me, I think Jackie and Paddy both coming off was a major bone of contention for me as well. Like, making the change of both of them was a big deal. And I think there's two things. There's the fitness level, and can we maintain all the way throughout? And there's then a little bit of if you've got an elite manager against us that's going to make the changes that's going to impact the game, then have we got somebody that's got that? And at the moment, we don't have somebody that's experienced enough and that's been the top level manager and so on. So the changes that we're making don't influence the game quite as much. But equally, they didn't start with their first choice defence, because their first choice defence isn't what they'll be playing against Barcelona in the Champions League. They wanted to play the players that they're going to play against Barca. They got away with one against us. That's my feeling, is they've got away with one against us, but they were able to bring on Martinez late in the game. And for me, he was a big element of that that change in balance as well. There were three elements. There was our fitness. And do you know what? He should have been banned for that game anyway. He shouldn't have been available to come on.
But even if it had got sent off, they'd probably found a way to make it come into effect after the game. Put
the appeal in place just so that we could play him against Leeds.
We got a couple of guests waiting, so I'm just going to bring them both in because I've been waiting a while, and I don't want anyone to fall asleep in waiting room.
Only because you're in danger of falling asleep while you're running this thing.
Pretty much, mate. We've got Matt Leeds here, a fellow YouTuber, probably a bit more professional than us.
Not really, no.
Direct from the USA, we got Hannah, who I don't think has returned her shirts yet.
I'm thinking about it. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
How are you guys doing? Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hannah?
Thriving.
Not gonna cry, are you?
No, forget. Yeah. He messaged me and he's like, "Want to come on the pod?" And I was like, "I'll probably cry on camera." Next message is the link. I'm like, "All right." I guess
some real sympathy there for you.
It's real on this show. I'm telling you, it's real. There's nothing scripted or staged.
Jay's mentality with that was, if I'm going on, you're going on.
What do you think to the game, Matt? How do you see the way we played and stuff?
I thought we were the better team. We were the better team in both games, to be honest. Rat-faced Bruno wouldn't shut up to the referees.
You know you're doing something right when he's moaning, don't you?
Yeah, and then I think bringing Bamford off kind of. I don't think Ruts is a striker. I think he's better off the right, because when you watch his highlights for who you play for, Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
He all the highlights of him cutting off the right or cutting off the left and coming inside. So I feel like he's better there than up front.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. No, it's no slight on the lad either. Like, he's just literally come to the league. He's 20. He's had a handful of minutes. Look at it took Bamford nearly a year under Bielsa to get good. Like, so at the end of the day, I think there was a lot of pressure put on him bringing him on for Bamford. I think he should have been potentially brought on a little later in the game. So
I feel like the price tag doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, that's very true, Matt. Yeah. But I thought maybe if you'd have brought him on maybe on the 70-minute mark, 75-minute mark, give him a good 15 minutes. But then it's no slight on him or whoever came on, but we lost our shape and our impetus up front, where we didn't have anyone that was holding the ball up, and it was very much kind of back to chaotic, get it forward football rather than the controlled passing and bits that we saw prior to the 70 minutes or the changes being made.
Yeah.
I
think that's probably fair. You know what you're talking about sometimes, Karl. Hannah, how do you feel after all that?
I thought we were fab first 80 minutes, as you guys have said. I thought Ayling was superb. I thought we kept Rashford out of the game for a really long time. I don't want to be the person that complains about the officiating, but I feel like both games, Man United got away with so many fouls. And the fact that I think they ended the game with 13 fouls and we had 10. I thought that they were later into tackles and they had more kind of choppy fouls. So I don't understand why we didn't get more of an advantage there.
But Firpo got booked for his first tackle,
which was daft. Like it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, I thought we played well. It's just disappointing to see. I thought you could see the change in the movement and the positioning and everything as soon as we made those subs. And I think you just made a really good point that we don't really have a manager in place that can see that and maybe make an instant move. Because I feel like we played predominantly on the right side a majority of the game. I don't think Willie had as much of the ball as he should have this game. And I don't know. I was disappointed with that result because I feel like we should have gotten at least a point there. Man United have their own rules. Well, I hate it.
Yeah. You're not wrong, Hannah.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Did anyone kind of feel like just what Hannah's mentioned there, that we didn't get Willie in the game as much because of what happened on Wednesday, where he was on the ball all the time, then he started getting kicked around the place? Do you think, was it a case that we tried to isolate someone else away from him to kind of build the play on? Or do you think it was just a case that Willie just didn't play to the standard that we kind of come to expect from him now?
I think they
he
probably
had 2 men on him.
Close attention to make sure he couldn't get in the game.
He had one in front and one behind. He had 2 men on him just about all the game, which leads you to believe who's cheating. Because if he's being marked by 2, somebody else is not getting picked up. But no, I think it's a fair point. But I wouldn't put that at his feet. And again, it goes back to the position. Sorry, Hannah, I wasn't saying that you were blaming him, but we were unable to get him into the game. And a lot of that, again, you look at the manager and think, would a manager with a bit more experience behind him be able to see that and make a change that would allow us to get him into the game more? Exactly. Change the shape of the side, or make a substitution that allows us to get our more dangerous players on the ball further up the pitch, which I'm absolutely not having a go at Scooby. I think he's doing a really good job in really trying circumstances where we've got a board that are clearly failing to do their job at the moment. He's doing a good job. I'm not denigrating him at all. But if you did have somebody at the level that it appears we're looking at for people to come in, they see that and they make a change that allows us to affect the game with our more dangerous players.
Yeah, I think we're definitely lacking some tactical direction under this team. They're doing what they can out of these guys just to keep us ticking over. But we need a manager, even if it ends up being that fucking Nuno. I don't want him, but
I think
I just want a manager in now.
The good thing too is I feel like when Marsh was in, I feel like there was a lot of games where we started really slow. And we got scored on quite early. And I feel like that hasn't happened this last 2 games. I don't know if they just have a little bit more confidence. And I feel like it did carry itself pretty far into the game. And you're probably right. I think it's just the will and the desire of these players right now that's really holding it together. Because it's
or is it just that the scum of shit?
Yeah. And I mean, did we
it's a tough yardstick, in it.
Did we really have a lot of plays even when we were like moving the ball forward and connecting a ton of passes? I feel like our play right now has been relatively scrappy, and that's probably why we're not getting into that last third to get as many chances as we should be. But I don't know. I think stuff's going to change, especially if it's a manager that they can like.
Can I just answer a question in the comments and just say absolutely not? Can't do a job anywhere.
I was about to do
absolutely
the same
not.
thing
but there's another one there as well. Just one thing, Hannah, you've got a bit of interaction from Jimmy the ref here. The referee had a good game, says Jimmy. I would have no issues with the officials.
Okay.
Jimmy, to be fair, he's a referee assessor back in Ireland, so we're at the top league.
I think the thing for me is
not saying you're wrong, Hannah. You know,
No,
just different opinion. Just different.
I think that the thing for me is the imbalance. He booked Firpo for his first tackle, and I were in the stands, and I've not seen it back, but it didn't look a bad one. It didn't. But there were tackles
on the game, didn't he, early on?
And maybe so. But you once you do that, you have to then maintain. You've set an expectation, and if you're trying to stamp authority, and actually there's another tackle that is of the same ilk and goes unpunished, you've lost your authority. So that you set your stall out, you got to stick by it, and it's irrelevant as to whether it's an ESL club that's trying to fuck over the entire sport or not. So so I'd see where Jimmy's coming from in that a lot of those decisions might be right, but they're all belied by the fact that he made a mistake by booking Firpo. And that might only be one mistake, and he got a lot of others right. But when it's our team and our player that gets booked and their team that doesn't for the same challenges, that's when it becomes an issue, and that's when the crowd gets so the referee's got a duty to the game, and that's why I agree more with Hannah. All right, I've got a lot of time for Jimmy. I think he's a great guy, but I agree more with Hannah and Jimmy that the ref did fuck up at that point, and it might only be one mistake, but it's still a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you reckon, Matt? Do you think the ref had a bad game?
Yeah, I thought the ref was poor. I thought we got booked for like less tackles. Like the tackles weren't as bad. There was like they were like even tackles, and then Firpo would get booked, and then Bruno wouldn't get booked.
That's the thing, Matt. Like there was no consistency there at all with the referee's decisions. It was all like, all right, book him now, and I'll book him. I won't book him. It didn't seem like he had any kind of. It was like he'd no understanding of what the hell an actual foul was, and he was just booking people for the sake of booking them. Like,
yeah, that's just the big six.
You look at Maguire in the way that he handled him. If you look at the way that the referee handled Maguire, he did so. He gave himself time. He made the decisions that he made, having given himself a few seconds to make the decision. Whereas with Firpo, he jumped straight into it, and it was almost like he felt like he needed to do something to kind of stop it boiling over. And it's like, no, you need to give yourself time to make the right decision. So the way that he dealt with he called him over 3 different occasions and had a conversation with him. And it was almost like you were saying, your next one, you're going to get booked. But you do that 3 times, and the player's not going to listen to you anyway.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't my Sorry. Sorry, mate, go on.
There was a moment where when some people had one of his shots and Bamford got pulled down by Maguire in the box. If he doesn't get pulled down, he's beating Maguire to the ball. And when De Gea gets his hand to it, he's first one to the ball. So you could say that's a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. But things like that are never going to go for us, especially against them.
Of course not.
Yeah, it's just the way Alison makes a good point here, which is it's something that's irked me for a while. Like so the linesman was shocking yesterday. This is one of my biggest pet peeves at the moment. A linesman is now called a referee's assistant. Why the fuck isn't the assistant the referee when the ball's gone out yards away from the throw? Why are the linesmen waiting for the referees to put their fucking hand up when they're 50 yards
away? Is he breaking up for everybody, or is it just me?
Yeah.
I thought it was me at first. It looks crazy now where
it's like censoring out. It's censoring out the bad words. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a new YouTube software called the Karl.
Oh, man.
So I went in North East Lower just to answer the question I think was being asked. I was in the North East Lower, and therefore the line is right in front of you. And there were a couple of occasions, like really, really, really blatantly wrong, where he just didn't make a decision. He waited for the ref to do something, and then he flagged whatever the ref had said. There was one that was a really, really clear corner. Really, really clear. Yeah. And everybody knew that it was. And he just stood. And at that point, I'm having even a bit of sympathy with the ref, because he's 30, 40 yards away and can't see it as closely as a guy that's 3-4 yards away, and he's not making a decision. And you're thinking, what the fuck are you playing at? That is that is what you're there for. Yeah. You are there to make that decision and tell the ref what's just gone on right in front of you.
Yeah, I reckon he were probably hungover and put both his contacts in the same eye. Didn't have a fucking clue, did he? Couldn't see a thing.
Fucking hell. Yeah, well, there you go. That's fun.
There you go, indeed. Fuck me, I'm struggling here, guys. But oh, God, I don't even know what to say at the moment. So that's why I'm just letting you talk.
One thing that we can say is, at present, because the dirty red shite from Liverpool are doing a job against Dyche's Everton, we are still out of the bottom 3. It is by the skin of our teeth, but they are 2-0 up at the moment. If Everton had won that game, we would have been in the bottom 3. So
and we play for the moment,
we're not there. And then what would 3 points be worth against them in the next game?
Oh, that's one of them. That's one of them 6-pointers that they talk about.
I think there's about 12 points on that one.
Yeah, probably.
I'm absolutely shitting it for Saturday. Like,
Can Rodrigo get a foot transplant and like or a new leg? I miss
Just give him one of Forshaw's. He's not using it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, have we got anyone else now that's taken over from body parts for Forshaw? Because he must have nothing left.
Jeez. We've got to beat them, haven't we? Absolutely, regardless of who's in charge. It's just this is one of the big games in our season now.
Just beyond that, I mean, it's Everton and then it's Southampton, and Southampton currently linked with Jesse March. Can you imagine? if they bring in March and then beat us?
Do you know how pissed
with
off
that
the
ball
Americans?
over the top.
How pissed off are the Americans going to be if Marsh goes there and then we beat them?
Oh,
There's going to be riots.
No, just imagine. I mean, I've been on Joe from the Just Joe. I've been on his show tonight, and he's been staunchly Marsh out for a long time. Imagine he goes there and they stay up at our expense.
No,
I
don't. I already have night terrors. I do not need to add anything to that.
I mean, the one thing I would say, I'm glad you're here, Hannah, because a lot of Leeds fans and the club as a whole have been getting some real pelters for Marsh going, saying it's because you all hate Americans and it's just not fair. I think you can go a long way to helping that, but also Adams is going a long way to helping that, and McKennie is as well. And for me, Adams is our player of the season so far. It's not an American thing; it's just a Marsh thing.
Yeah.
I just can't get my head around people saying that when everybody loves Tyler Adams, and it's just like shouted from the rooftops how much we love him. But we don't like Americans.
In other sports out here in the US, NBA, NFL, MLB, they sack managers all the time. So the expectation that you're going to start watching Leeds United and they're going to be performing very poorly, and we're not going to let go of the manager because we are going to let go of the manager because he's American is like the daftest thing. These people are probably like Yankees fans or Red Sox fans, and they see managers go all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like it's a new thing or an unexpected thing. It's the way sport works.
Yeah, we hate Americans, clearly.
That's exactly. But again, we're going to be.
Well, we didn't want to say
by Americans, you know.
I mean, we were trying to be nice, but you know,
it's fine.
Oh God! So
Schroeder appears to be out, which is good.
What's that?
Schroeder appears to be out, which is good. The ex-Ajax guy. I think some of the news that we've been seeing today. He was at the game. He's been at the training ground, and you're thinking, oh shit! But we've got some really good guys in our dressing room, and we can look at our players and not think, well, you're a rat-faced scum bastard and you're a diving, cheating twat. We don't look at our players and think, we don't really like you. We don't want you. They're all guys that you can look at and think, yeah, I'd go for a beer with you. You're all right. Yeah. What you don't want then is poison in the manager's seat, and absolutely, it looks like that's exactly what he was at Ajax in a massive fish, small pond. 1st of November through to the end of January or mid-January, I think it was, before they let him go without a win. And then they get 4 wins on the bounce, I think it was. One of them 5-1. And as soon as he'd gone, and a lot of that depends on who's picking up the wins. Well, yeah, exactly.
It should be one of those jobs that any of us could walk into and win. Do you know what I mean?
It should be. The amount of money that they've got to spend and the amount of drawing power because they develop people and then sell them on to bigger leagues. It's insane what they can do. And the fact that he was unable to do that, but then you saw fan revolts and you saw posters begging the club to get rid of him. And we're going to bring him in. And it's like, fuck's sake, guys, come on.
I think there was already a fan revolt and posters from our fans over it all.
Yeah.
Somebody stood outside Radz's house, like waving a banner or something that says, "Don't fucking hire him."
Apparently, an Ajax fan put up a tweet today. Well, he put up a tweet, but apparently in that tweet, they have the most expensive squad in Dutch football history at the moment. Before he left, and they had the worst performances from the most expensive squad.
I don't know if it was that. I saw. I mean, you might be right on that one. The one that I do know is they've definitely spent more this season than any side in any window ever. So in the summer, they spent more than any Dutch side ever has in the history of the Eredivisie. Even taking into account inflation, so balancing it out for inflation, it's historically the most they've ever spent. Now, they did lose some big players in the summer as well. And do you know what? I've got a bit of sympathy there. We spent a lot of money in the summer, but we brought in more than we spent. So it kind of evens itself out. But yeah, you are right. And so it must be full time. I think it is one of those where it should be a cakewalk. It's like going to Rangers or Celtic where they are now, not after Rangers fell down the leagues, but where they are now. It's like going there and not finishing in the top two. It's just unthinkable.
Yeah. You walk in the door, you've already got the best squad, and you've got all the resources in the world to do it. Yeah. You know, and if you can't succeed with that, then you can't be much cop, can you?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about him, Matt? Were you up for him coming, or do you not want him?
Don't want him. No, I'll be fine with Nuno because, I think Firpo can play as a wing back, and I think he'll be better as a wing back because he's good at going forward. But the thing is, when you
probably would be better like that.
When you do have wing backs, where does Nonto play? Where does Somerville play? Where does Sinistera play? So our best options are on the wings. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But even he has done a 4-2-3-1 in the past. He's not always free at the back. He has done a 4-2-3-1 in the past as well. But I mean, you are right. But when everybody's fit, we do have the defence that can set that up. So we've got the flexibility. And if you look at a three in midfield, when Rocker, I mean, I don't know what the issue is with Rocker at the moment. When you've got Rocker, Adams, and McKennie in midfield, that's a really strong trio. So if you're doing 4-3-3, or you're playing three at the back and you're going with wing backs and three in the middle, the options are there with the side. And somebody that is a class coach can come in and pick a side that, regardless of your formation, all right, the players need to be fit, but regardless of formation, we're going to be able to pick from players that we can look at in a lineup and go, yeah, that's enough to be competitive.
Bandy saying, let's keep our powder dry, wait till the end of the season to get somewhere in. We should enough to stay in the division. That would give the right candidate.
It's risky.
It is. If you look, Joe made the point this evening that whoever comes in's got more games than Marsh had last season to keep us up. So anybody coming in with anything to their name should be able to keep us up. But you risk it. This is a bit underhanded, but this is part of the sport, I think, now. Of you bring in, you bring in a gaffer, and that gaffer with, and I'll come on to some names in a minute. I just want to set the stall out as the sort of person we're looking for.
Where are we going here?
Somebody that's had top level experience, but top level success in the game, but is experienced enough to be able and has broad enough shoulders, not just to deal with the pressure situation that the club finds itself in, but also the pressure that we apply on a match day as fans, the expectation level that we've got of the effort that they'll put in and the performances and the results that we expect. That's a big ask, and to do that and to kind of risk it to the end of the season just on who we've got already, I think for me, even if I'll bring back O'Leary, even if what we do is we go to the best type of coach we can get at the moment, whether that be a Nuno, whether that be a Benitez, whoever that might be, you go and get the best coach we can get right now. And you know what? Hannah said it with the 49ers and what have you. We make changes in the summer, the ownership changes. Fuck it, sack them.
Yeah.
It's just a money situation at that point. There's no loyalty in the game. It's a job. And they'll pick up another job. So you bring in the best coach you can get for right now, and you might give him a 3-year deal, and you bring in a Nuno, you bring in a Benitez, I don't care. You bring in somebody that's got that capability, that's got some Premier League experience. Nuno got Wolves to Europe, to a quarter-final in Europe. Let's not forget that. It was effective football. It wasn't Bielsa ball, but none of it is with any of them. So you get the best coach you can. And if you can get a Lewis, and I'm not going to say that we're going to get them, but if you can get somebody of the level of a Luis Enrique, a Pochettino, somebody like that in summer, then fire whoever you bring in and bring in the top level manager you can.
I mean, the payoff for firing them is going to be pennies compared to keeping the Premier League money, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it's
not
the other thing though is we've also dished out 10 million to sack Marsh.
10 million?
Yeah, but it were worth it.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. It's 10 million well spent, but you know, we're kind of like the.
But we should have spent it in November.
There you go. Exactly that. Exactly that.
They didn't want to give up on him.
Screaming out for it on this podcast. We were screaming out for it on this podcast, and it was like, no.
They were convinced that he'd get it right for some reason. And they knew.
I think that was the Niners. I think that was the Niners' influence. I think we talked about it back in November. I think there was that kind. Yeah, I think there was that idea because all the press, especially right before the World Cup, and how well they were expecting the U.S. to perform in the World Cup. I was obviously in California watching the U.S. coverage of the entire World Cup, and the amount of times that Leeds United were brought up, and the fact that they have an American manager was unnecessary. Like, I loved it, but it was like they were just throwing it into random other games that I was watching. So they wanted to bank off of that.
Can I ask you a question, Hannah?
No.
Do we need the countdown music again?
Do you see what's going on here now? She's in the middle of her day and she's very much got her wits together, and we're at the end.
I'm like, I stopped working for this. I'm stoked.
No, I just wanted to ask you, like, usually with players from different countries and stuff like that, or within the football world, usually it's the players that are more looked at and the attractive draw for supporters of that particular country to come and watch the team. How come it's the opposite way with Jesse? Because like the players don't seem to be getting the same coverage as Jesse did.
I think the people that know the sport and are following it for good reasons, and the Americans that decided to support Leeds for good reasons, are in love with Adams, McKennie, and Aronson. Okay. I think the people that maybe just thought it was an attractive draw because there was an American manager and have no idea what they're talking about are the ones that are upset that Jesse's gone.
Right. Okay. They're the
so all of the U.S. I mean, I have a few actual proper U.S. soccer fan friends here that, I mean, they're all about Adams and McKennie and Aronson, and they did not give a shit who the manager was. And I think that's, I mean, honestly, as a football, I mean, it was different with this guy, but I think as a football supporter in general, like, that's how it should be. You don't support a team because of a manager. You support a team because of the players and because of the team as itself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think the people that have gone on Twitter saying, "Oh, I need to get rid of my jersey I was gifted for free," are fucking idiots. So
Hannah's the official spokesperson for the American supporters.
All of America.
All of America. All of America.
I don't know where it was. I saw something on Twitter like today that, or like a couple of days ago, get rid of Bamford, get rid of Cooper, get rid of Dallas, get rid of all the old players. What defense do we have?
Man, that's a good point. Like, when you're bringing in new players, Matt, you do kind of want to have some of the old guard there to make the transition a little more seamless. Whereas if you bring all these players in and sell them, then there's nothing like you're expecting those new players to hit the ground running straight away and know what the crack is with the club when they've no one around them.
It's rather have a bench of players you can rely on if you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper gets
we all love Hannah.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt, go on.
I said Cooper gets so much disrespect from like a lot of fans. I think
he's all been
one of our best defenders, if not, up there before Boba came in.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, absolutely. I think Weber aside, because he's had a big impact. I think Jay, Smarty. I don't think Karl did, but they hated Cooper, properly hated him, and he's had to win them over so many different times. But I think you are right, and the old everybody was going, Ayling's not the answer, and then you look at the performances that he's turned in over the last 2 games and go, what's the question if he's not the answer? Because he's done so well and he's still got so much to offer. And I find it really hard to believe that he's only got 3 or 4 months left on his deal. Get the contract out because. If he's not the answer, it certainly isn't Rasmus either. He's the man for me.
I think Karl said he was finished last year, didn't he? Over Illis.
I know, year before. It was 20. I think he's 31 now. And I think when Karl wrote him and Dallas
29, wasn't
he? Ayling was 29 and Dallas was 30.
Dare you. I also think I loved in this last game. I feel like Click's shithouse torch got passed over to Ayling because he was fucking asshole. It was awesome.
Do you know who I can see taking that mantle up as well is one of the two American lads in the middle, either Adams or McKennie. Yeah. He's already come out and talked about how he loves the banter already on the pitch and, just slagging other players off and winding them up. I'm like, yeah, you get it, dude. You get it. Just go and do it. Just go and do it. We give you all the permission in the world. Go and do it.
You even see Adams when he made that first tackle. We just looked at him.
Yeah,
looking at him.
That was class.
That's people. There were a couple of comments about Adams saying that his tackle was Batty-esque. I think Batty's one of my favourite players of all time. I still have a lot of love for him. I think the thing for me that makes me think of Batty when I see Adams putting in a big crunching tackle is not actually the tackle. It's the fact that he absolutely gives no fucks at all afterwards.
Yep.
He doesn't even acknowledge the fact that he's just crunched the shit out of somebody. He just gets up and walks off, and we're like, it's just part of the job.
Because that's
so negligent.
That's going to have so much of an impact, though, because I feel like if we can have that kind of presence in the midfield where people are afraid to go into tackles against, you get that extra second or whatever to get rid of the ball or whatever it may be. It will completely change the game.
Absolutely. So, if you've got a 50-50 ball and you've got a guy who's thinking twice about going in against you for it, and you've got a psychological edge there already.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I need it. I want to be Dirty Leeds again, please.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, so that being everybody's second team. That never sat well with any of us, did it? I know people love Bielsa. I mean, we all love Bielsa, but there's people that have followed his entire career because he's been at their club, and then they just maintain the love for him. I'm fine with those sorts of people that are old boys fans and so on that just love wherever he's been. But what I don't want is Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans, Newcastle looking at us going, oh yeah, we like watching him play. They're our second. No, fuck off. We're awful. Just remember that we're awful. We don't want your sympathy. We don't want to be your second club.
It's funny how they were like that, and then the fans came back and everyone's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
We remember why we didn't like you.
Yeah. Okay. Dirty wankers back in the stands. It's like, yep, how's it going? All right.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's class, man. I don't think we'd be the same kind of club if the fans weren't as hated as we are. Like, everyone fucking hates us.
We revel.
And I absolutely love that. I
love that we upset people. I just love that.
If you're at Leeds United, have a go.
This is why I don't want Gerrard to be our freaking manager, because I met him at a meet and greet with my mom when he was playing at the LA Galaxy, and we showed up in Leeds gear, and he gave us shit. And we were like, oh, we're Leeds United supporters. And he went, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, fuck you. So if he gets the job, I don't know. I'm going to.
But he's also shit.
Yeah, and he's shit. But I'm going to go in the freaking owner's box next time I go over there and be like, he hates us.
Do you know what? I'd be really happy with that. I want a manager that's got a bit of edge like that. I want when he's not part of our club. Now, I'm not advocating for Gerrard at all because he can't do the job.
Somebody please clip this. That Gilly wants Gerrard.
Fully incapable of doing the job. But if we get a manager that's capable and willing to do a bit of that, I'm all right with that. I like a bit of an, I've mentioned before about we love Bielsa, but he would never say anything about anybody, and that sometimes grated me slightly.
He'd make a PowerPoint.
He'd make a PowerPoint and make you look like an absolute prick. Exactly what he'd do. He'd be like
he did with Lampard.
You idiot. Yeah. You've the intellectual.
Somebody did say in the comments earlier that they'd rather have Lampard, and I'm not having Lampard over anyone.
Bielsa would have done one of them pie charts, and it had said Lampard is a knob at the top, and it had been like blue with a yellow bit, and then it had said Lampard is a knob but in yellow for that part.
Yeah.
Would have been fucking ace. No. We do analysis too. Of course you do.
Yeah.
So. Right, I think I'm going to wrap us up, guys, unless anyone's got what they really want to say, because I'm plodding a bit here.
Are you?
Okay.
I really hope that anything that happens with Man City and their potential points deductions happens beyond the end of this season, and that the points that the Scum picked up against us and what allows them to get into the Arsenal have had a wobble. Man City are potentially getting points deductions. I really hope the fucking scum don't win it. That would be just fucking terrible. It really would. So, I really hope that. I don't like any of them, but it's also who do we hate most? it's that bit, and I hate them most.
Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And going into the game this weekend, Everton's one of the few teams that have scored less than us, I think, this season. So
I just looked at that.
We need we could have won the game. We just have to score. We could win any game.
Now that you've said that, they're going to put 3 or 4 past.
Shut up.
Do you know what's
and
really
it'll be your fault.
No,
do you know what's really good though? The fact that they won that Arsenal game, I'm glad now, because if they'd come to us not having won a game for like 2 months or something, you know that we'd get smashed. But we won't have that awful fucking record lingering over us now. So
the dread.
Yeah, I think we've got to go all out in that to get something as well. I don't want to see any being cautious or any of that. I want to smash them.
We have to win it. We're the only team other than Bournemouth that hasn't won a game in the last 5 in the league.
Yeah. And we've got a way better squad than they have.
You'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope Bamford scores and then just knee slides in front of Dyke.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to do celebrations.
Booked him off at Brentford, didn't he?
He's not allowed to do celebrations.
Wasn't it? He gave him shit because his man dropped him to training or something.
When they signed his contract.
Yeah, he should 100% have a T-shirt with his mom and dad's face on it in a fucking car or something. Got here on the team bus.
What I'd really like if Bamford was, they like putting Bamford in front of the camera, don't they? And if he came out and he did the after match interview with the players, and he came out, and instead of it being the posh voice that Dyche didn't like, is if he put a Dyche voice on. Yeah, I thought we did really well.
We smashed them.
Their problem is the manager's shit and he'll never amount to anything.
I need to see the Dyke's post-game presser if he loses to us. I need it. It's gonna be injected. I need it.
Oh, into my veins. Right in there. Just like
in
all
fact,
the way.
If we do beat him and Bamford scores, and he is the interviewee afterwards, I might dub it over with Dyche voice.
Oh yeah,
and you can get like there's a chat GBT thing now where you can get the voices of different celebrities and put them over a video. That'd be brilliant if you could do that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we need that. I think we need that.
That'd be That's the technical side of things that I'm shit at, Gilly. So yeah, ideas, man.
Cheers, mate. Just line me up.
I'm full of ideas, man. Full of ideas. Just no way how to implement them.
All right. Well, just before we call it a night, I'm just going to go around the room and just see what result you all think we're going to get. I don't know if you want to take these down, Gilly, or these can just be unofficial.
Well, we've got the pod tomorrow. Like
I know, yeah.
We have, yeah. We'll grab it there.
What are you thinking? A win, Gilly?
Me?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes down to the side that I don't know what's wrong with Rocker. Sini's going to be out. I think if we come out of the game, if we've got no ill effects on the squad this time, I do expect 3 points. I do. Dyche has the impact on the sides, and the fact that they went and did what they did against Arsenal kind of belies belief, given where Arsenal were and Everton were. But I think we've got enough, and I think that the players will take so much from the performance levels that they were able to put out against the Scum. I think we can carry that into the next 2 games. I'm going to predict in the Predictions League wins in both the next 2 games.
Yeah, I hope they're able to take positives from those games and not be too down about the fact that we got beat. Karl, what are you saying?
I was just going to say, really, you can't be down about the 2 performances, regardless of the results. I think the performances should be enough to catapult us to at least a 2 or 3-0 win on Saturday.
Yeah,
their defense is very, very shaky, and we look more assured at the back because we're not leaving the space in behind the fullbacks at the moment. So if we can kind of work our way into getting a few goals, then I think just push on from there. But the one thing I'm kind of afraid of is if we don't get a manager soon, Scoobs is going to have to start implementing his own kind of style, because at the moment it's just a quick fix.
Yeah.
So we do need to get the manager sorted, but I don't think it'll be done by Saturday.
No,
I just don't
not.
think it'll be done.
I don't know the way it's going.
I think if it's done by Saturday, we've probably got the wrong person in the job. because it's a panic appointment if it's done by weekend, because clearly we've not got the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different candidates. We've been with so many people. I think if we end up with a gaffer between now and the weekend, it's a panic appointment.
Yeah, probably. Hannah, what are you saying about Everton?
3-1 Leeds. Up the Leeds.
3-1 Leeds. Think we're going to smash them?
Nice. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think we're going to be playing against a worse defense. I think we might actually be able to make some space. I bet Willie will score 2. And I think we'll probably get beat on a counter attack and get scored on once.
Fair enough.
As long as
Matt, what do you think?
3-0 up.
Yeah.
2-1. I think we'll win 2-1. Let's go Bamford and Ayling.
Nice.
I like an call, man. Ayling's due one. Like
he is. He deserves one.
He's not scored since Man United at home away last season on the first day, was it?
He almost did the same thing.
Yeah,
very close.
Yeah, because he got that one against Fulham that was chalked off for offside.
It was chalked off, yeah.
So he hasn't actually got one since that Man United game. So fingers crossed. Like,
cool, good stuff.
What about yourself, Jay?
I reckon we're gonna smash them and get a win, but I'm not making a score prediction next. I can't
game away.
Yeah, I can't decide. I don't want Luke stealing my prediction. There's some changes in prediction league, I would have thought as well after that. I haven't
done them yet, but yes, I imagine so. I think that top spot will change hands again.
I hope so, in a good way, because I should be at the top.
And that's not a good way.
Maybe not for you guys.
No,
all right. I got asked to mention this by Luke earlier, just before we finish. Just a thing that Andy's Man Club are doing at Kirkstall. A walk and talk at Kirkstall Abbey on the 26th of February from 11 a.m. And what he said is it's a kind of light introduction for anybody who wants to go and get involved with them and see what it's all about. So, just wanted to give them a little plug because they do a lot of good work. Anyone else got anything for me?
Just to say that we'll be on tomorrow night. So the main podcast will be recorded and streamed live tomorrow night.
These lot know that because they're all subscribed and get notifications. So it's all right.
And if you're not already, like, subscribe, do all that bullshit.
Absolutely. Right. Thanks to Hannah. Thanks to Matt for coming on. And thanks to you guys for joining me again. Adios.